everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version to our YouTube channel, so you can check that out. My name is Vetta, and as always, I am joined by my brother, Matt.
Hey, you guys.
And this month's theme is imaginary friends. On this episode, we will be talking about the pretend one.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get started talking about the movie, what are you drinking?
I am drinking wine.
Very nice.
And I had mentioned this before, but you had bought me like all these little bottles, so I've just been like going through them and everything. So they're super fun. I was gonna drink beer because they drink beer an awful lot in this movie, but I'm not like a big beer guy. It's too filling. Like after two, my stomach, I'm just completely bloated. Maybe I need a probiotic, but I'm just drinking wine. What about you? What are you drinking?
So I am finishing up a bottle of wine I had, and it's like not even a full cup, but I have a rum and Coke here as well.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with a rum and Coke. It's so good.
No, I love me a good rum and Coke, so it is always my standby of
absolutely.
So alrighty. So did you watch the trailer for this movie?
I did.
And how did the trailer look for you?
I mean, it looked like a quaint little movie, I was just like, I didn't, I really didn't have any bad feelings towards it. I was just like, okay, and stuff. So
it kind of gave me a Hallmark Channel
vibes.
Oh
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for sure.
So
I didn't get it when I watched it though, Hallmark.
No, not at all. No, this definitely takes place. For those of you that don't know, this is it takes place, was filmed and produced in Australia by Australian companies and all of that. So the accents are fabulous. I'm a sucker for good accents, and
let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Right. And can I just say, at one point she gets into a car accident and her dad's like, why didn't you tell what happened? And she's like, I hit a roo. And I was like, now that's something you don't hear every day.
Right. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, that's so true. I hit a roo. I do have to say though, at some points this movie was pretty deep in like the story and stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty deep and everything.
So here, I think we'll start out, because I feel like this is another movie that if we went through and did the recap part of this, it would be really dry. So I think we're going to do let's talk about the characters. Let's talk about, some of the key plot points, and then, all of that. So we'll start with Charlie. She is the main character, and I love girls named Charlie. It is just amazing. I mean, I'm sure her name's like Charlotte or something like that, but they call her Charlie, or maybe it's not. Good for her either way.
I mean, I guess so. I don't like Charlie, but whatever. I don't like dude names for girls, but that's just me.
Oh, wow. Wow. So thanks for that. You have two nieces.
I don't. Do I though? I mean, like Carson is not. I never looked at Carson as a boy's name.
No, and it was on the baby. Fun fact: it was on the girl side of the baby book, but she was actually. So last episode, was it last episode? No, last episode we brought up Drop Dead Fred, and Phoebe Cates is in that. So she's actually, we got the name Carson for a girl after Phoebe Cates played a character named Carson.
Oh, yeah.
I was like 8 months Shag.
In Shag. Oh my God, I love that movie. I love that movie so much. Oh my God.
I was like 8 months pregnant and was watching that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a cute name. And then I flipped through the baby book and it was there.
Yeah, I don't really. And then which other niece do I have named after
she goes by Andy. But
her name is Andrea. That doesn't count. Get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here. Okay. So but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It's like, what are we gonna start naming dudes? Like Brock and shit. Anyways, okay. So go ahead.
That is a guy name. Anyways, so Charlie is has a dad, just a dad. Her mom has died. And so it's just her and her dad. And this movie starts, I'm assuming, shortly after her mom has died. But the majority of it, she's an adult. Her and her dad are cotton farmers. She works for her dad on his farm. And from the way it sounds, she is one of the few females in the small town that they live in, a small farming community. Yeah. Either that or she's like one of the few female farmers.
Well, she's the only female that I saw in this movie. I was like, was there any other woman in this movie?
Well, I think like the bar is like where the farmers hang out. Right. And so there's no, and all the farmers are old. So I think there's just like a whole, plus they probably, we don't know what the budget was for this film. So they probably couldn't afford any more people. Right. So her dad's name is Roger. And can I just say, he looked really old when she was a little kid. And then he looked even crazier old when she was an adult. And I was like, how old are you, dude?
Yeah, right. Ain't that the truth, right?
And he's the farmer, and he does not have the best relationship with her daughter because of Hugo, who is her imaginary friend.
Well, can we, do you mind if we talk about the dad a little bit? I know you want to talk about Charlie, but can we talk about the dad a little bit? Because I didn't think the dad was a good parent.
No, that's what I was getting at when I said he did not have the greatest connection with his daughter.
Yeah, because it's obvious his daughter created this character, and he just wanted to get that's I have so many. That's
we'll get into that more later. But she has this imaginary friend.
I have so many questions about Hugo. I have so many questions. Okay, so much. But I didn't think he was a good dad because I like, if my kids have not exempted or shown any sorry, that was the wrong word, shown any signs of an imaginary friend. And
yeah, and I would go, mine didn't really ever have imaginary friends either. It was all like dolls and action figures and all of that. So
and can I ask you a question? Her talking to herself, okay, so she's talking to herself in this movie, but I was just like, I talk to myself all the time. Do I have an imaginary friend that I don't see? Like I'm just.
No, my thoughts are I talk to myself when I want to have an intelligent conversation.
And ain't that the truth, sister? Ain't that the truth, girl? I get what you're saying. Because I'm all like,
I feel like if I'm in the car and I'm talking to myself, it's because Oprah's interviewing me in a car and there's a camera in my car. God, I do that too.
That's so true, Oprah. I do recycle because I want to reduce my carbon footprint. You are so right.
And I do things like, Oprah, just because the grass is greener on the other side, guess what? It still has to be mowed. And she's like, right. That's so profound.
Right. Yeah. I'm all like, thank you, Oprah. Thank you. My book comes out next week. So, but I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I was just like, she's talking to herself, but I was like, that doesn't mean she has an imaginary friend. And again, my kids didn't have an imaginary friend, so I'm all like, and if they did,
there's still time.
if my kids ever had an imaginary friend, I would go with it. I'd be like, oh, you have an imaginary
friend? I would be like that movie we did at the beginning of the month, the movie Z. I'd be setting a plate. I'd be like, how's your friend doing today?
I'd be all in.
Did he have a great day at school?
Yeah, I would be all in, and I'd be like, unless kids were dying, like in that movie, but I'd be all in. Like I'd be like, let's do this, dude. I'd be so happy about it. Like I'd be like, let's go with it.
Yeah, because I think that's a normal part of childhood. My concern would grow when the imaginary friend hung around too long. And this dad does. The good thing he does at one point, but it's in his own home. He gets her like, is it a therapist or a hypnotist?
Oh, dude. I have so many. Hold on.
By that. But we're still talking about let's just keep going.
Yeah, whatever. I have so many thoughts about that therapist / hypnotist.
How unprofessional, if it's a therapist, how unprofessional is that you're doing it in her house where her dad can hear everything. And if you're a hypnotist, stop giving your fucking opinion and just do your goddamn job.
Yeah, and plus she's like, I don't think she was a therapist. I don't think she was a therapist because she wasn't trying to understand why she had an imaginary friend. She was just trying to get rid of the imaginary friend. Yeah, and I'm all like,
that's why I thought she was like a hypnotist
I agree with you there. I totally think she was a hypnotist and I don't like hypnotists. No, I don't like that.
So then I go back to the dad's just a bad parent. He should have, if he was super concerned, he should have taken her into whatever city was closest and got her treatment. If he thought this was more than just an imaginary friend.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This was clearly, go ahead.
So no, you go, you go.
I was just going to say, this is clearly her coping with the grieving process of her
Yes.
mother.
Yeah, and he freaked out on her in the car when she was talking to Hugo, and he's like, "That's enough." And I'm like, "Whoa, you need to watch your tone, who you're talking
Thank
to
you.
right
I was
now."
like, excuse me, sir?
Yeah,
She
yeah.
is a small child.
He even stomped on the brakes, and I'm like, "Yo, you're overreacting to this." I'm like, first off, she's a child, and she's acting like a child, and you are acting like a child also. Calm it down, sister. Like, what's your fucking problem, dude?
Right? Yeah. So Roger, on more than one occasion in this movie, got on my nerves as a parent.
Okay.
He is probably fine as a farmer and a human being character,
Yeah.
but as a parent, he got on my nerves.
Can I just say though, this movie made cotton farming seem like really charming. Like I was like, the cotton farming looks fun. I don't know. Like you're just like sitting
I
in
was
a
like,
machine.
ooh, is that like, what are those called? Combines? I was like, I could
Sure.
drive one of those. Look at him. He's
Yeah.
driving it and standing up outside of the cab. Oh, I could do that.
Yeah. And you get to go swimming every day when you're slow and stuff. I was like,
Like
this.
you walk out and touch the cotton and you're like, oh, the damn weather. I'm gonna go swim.
Yeah. Crikey. Anyway, so
So next we have Hugo, the imaginary friend, who's a
yeah.
ginger, and he's a much bigger ginger when he's a kid. He's a kid. I mean, it's like flaming orange
Yeah,
ginger.
for sure.
It's a
He's full
muted
on no
ginger.
soul.
It's like more of a Ed Sheeran colored ginger when he's an
For
adult.
sure, yeah.
Can I just say I don't like Hugo.
I
think Hugo is a selfish dick.
Yeah. And a
he thinks the world revolves around him.
Yeah, ain't that the truth, sister? Yeah. No, I was all like, I think I wrote it down somewhere, but like he did too much cock blocking with his nonsense, and I'm all like, I have questions about Hugo. I have so many things to say.
Can I just ask why, when she was in the pub in the beginning, she ordered him a beer?
Yeah. Okay. First, yeah. Okay. Can we? Okay. I want to talk about this like all like psychologically and shit. Okay. Yeah. So she orders him a drink, which I'm like, okay, fine. You're crazy, but you're going along with your craziness. Okay. So then Guy walks in, and I know we'll talk about Guy. Okay. Yeah. I want to say right now, Hugo's joke about like Jane in the vein with the cane was not a good joke.
Spaghetti and all that. Yeah. I
did not laugh. I don't know how you felt. Like I did not laugh at all.
I was like, Hugo, you're not 5 anymore, who just realized there are swear words that rhyme with real life words.
Yeah.
So stop.
Yeah. So she orders him a beer, a pint. Yeah. And I'm all like, what would happen? Okay, let's say you finish your pint, Charlie. What would happen to that pint? Are you going to drink it? You know Hugo can't drink it. What? That's a waste of money.
This is my thing too, though. When Guy asks her whose beer that is, she says it's not hers, but then she gives it to him at the end. And Guy had every right to be confused by that, because he was like, wait, she just gave me somebody else's beer. Did they drink out of this? What is happening?
Yeah, it was so like nonsensical / weird, but at the same time, I was all like,
showing her crazy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And then I don't know what you want to go with this one, because you're the host of this one, but can we talk about them having sex?
We will get to that. Can we finish up the characters? Guy's the only one we have left. Let's talk about Guy, and then we're going to move on to, we'll discuss. I was planning on discussing Hugo and Charlie's relationship, or her and her dad's relationship, her and Hugo's relationship, and her and Guy's, and then
that sounds great,
and all of that. So Guy is a documentary maker for ABC in Australia.
Yeah. But he's doing a pilot,
which makes no sense, because he doesn't say he's doing a documentary series, which is what it sounds like. It sounds like he's doing more of reality TV, not a documentary, because he's in town to interview single farmers.
Yes.
To find them love, to find people to go on TV to help them find love. That sounds like a dating show, or a reality show, like The Bachelor, only for farmers, or whatever.
And when we're done with talking about Guy, can we talk about the farmers and their
oh yeah,
please? Okay, thank you so much.
So I like Guy, But
Mhm.
Guy should have ran real early in this movie. And the fact that he hung around, I go, he's got a little crazy in him too, that he was
Oh, you
okay.
think so?
Well, he hung around. So either he's under the philosophy of, if they're crazy, you know what that means, right? They're good in bed.
Right on.
Um,
Right
so,
on.
or he's a little bit crazy himself because he goes along, like, he catches her talking to herself. You know, he's hearing the stories from other people, I'm assuming, because the people in the pub and stuff make comments occasionally and things like that.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm sorry. If I'm a grown ass adult and I'm in a bar and I'm meeting someone and all of a sudden I'm hearing rumors they have imaginary friends and they're a grown ass adult and they're talking to themselves occasionally and then trying to brush it off as it's nothing, I'm not hanging around, because what is their serial killer telling them? To behead me and bury me in the backyard and put my head on a stake and hang it from a tree or whatever? No, thank you, sir. I can
Right
create
on.
my own drama. I don't need somebody else's.
I
So,
hear you. Um, okay, so I don't know. I thought Guy was kind of charming, like
oh
he
no,
was
he
all
was definitely the best thing that had come into that town in a long time. She had
yeah,
every
like he
right to
was
be all over that.
yeah, like he was just trying to like be all like I don't know, like I when he came in, like he was in the suit and I was like, "Oh, look at him all trying to like,
Did you
you
get
know,
the vibe of he was like the knight in shining armor that came in to save her from the farming life and was going to take her away to the big city?
100%. Yeah, but I was all for it. Like I was
Oh,
all like,
for sure.
yeah.
But so now let's talk about, since we're still talking about characters, we're going to talk about the pub patrons, because that whole part where he was questioned, like they do the interview. So he has all these applications with the photos of all the single farmers in the area. And he invites all those that are interested in doing this documentary pilot, whatever the hell it is. They throw out a whole lot of words for making TV that don't seem to go together, but I'm not in
Right.
that industry, so I don't know. But so they invite them into the back room of the pub, which is where they store the kegs, because they're all surrounded by kegs when they're on his little video and he's asking them questions. Can I just say boobies?
Yeah.
Big
Oh,
round
oh,
titty.
these, my big boobies, my massive fucking titties, my honger bonger donkey boinkies, like my fabric stretching massive milkers. Like I loved that they were all obsessed with titties, which I just want to say right now, I'm a boob guy. I just want to throw that out there.
Guys asking them questions like, have you ever been in love before? What do you, and one of the questions is, what do you value in a woman? And the answer from every fucking one of them is boobies, titties,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
massive round titties,
Yeah.
honkers.
I'm all about the hunger bonger donkey boinkies. Like I'm a boob guy 100%. Pure love.
But the fact that everyone, that tells you there are not that many women in this town, because you clearly know they weren't looking at Charlie. She didn't have a
Right,
very
right.
large rack on her.
Yeah, yeah.
So
She was
they
fit though. I like
oh
that.
no, she was
But yeah,
very adorable.
the interview portion was probably my favorite part of this movie. Like I loved every single part of it. Like I loved how they were all like I loved how like they were all like, you keep the drinks coming, mate, and I'll be like
Because that's how
talking
he
to you
got him to show
whenever.
up, is that he
Yeah.
was paying the tab.
Yeah, I love that so much. And then but I also liked when her dad showed up and he was like, and he talked about her mom and how she was like all shy and all cute and shit. And I was like,
And
that's
he didn't understand what she saw in him.
yeah, it was like first off,
So
okay, so the
sweet.
men before him were like they were funny in the sense that like they were still looking for love, but they were looking for this like superficial kind of thing. But then you found her dad who had found love and he was so like charming and heartwarming and like just like this love that he had for his wife who had passed and everything.
And you
And
could
I
tell
really
he was still in love with
yeah,
her.
yeah, and I love I love that contrast of it, but at the same time, I did love all the men that were all like
Oh, I loved every single one of the men, but I also love that part because you kind of got the sense from her that that was the first time she'd ever seen that side of
oh my
her
God,
dad.
yeah, for sure. I
But
loved it. It was
can
so
I
good.
just say the entire interview? the way that the faces of her and Guy with every single interview. Like, if you don't even
So
watch
good.
this movie, just put it on for this part.
Absolutely.
If
That
I
was so good.
remember, I'll try to write it down and hope I can remember. We will put
The
the
timestamp.
timestamp in
Yeah.
the comments. So
Yeah.
we'll put the farmer interview so you can go to the movie and watch that, because I'm not joking. It is funny.
It's the best. I would agree. It's the best part of the movie. Like it's funny, and you're just like, that's so funny. It's so good.
And you're looking at these guys going, should you really be being this picky? Shouldn't a
Right.
woman with any type of boobs be okay? Should
Right.
you be being
Yeah.
picky at this stage in your life?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's great. I loved that part. So those guys, they earned their paycheck that day. They made me happy. So
Yeah, they for sure. It was very good.
all right. So now we'll talk about Charlie and all of her different relationships. So we kind of already touched base on her and her dad. Her and her dad don't have the best relationship, because as her dad tells her at one part in the movie, when she's like, "You never talk to me," and he's like, "Because you're always talking with him," and she thinks he means Guy, and he's like, "No, the imaginary one,
Right. Yeah.
Hugo."
Hugo. Yeah.
So she thinks that she's convinced her dad that Hugo's gone. Um,
Right.
but her dad knows he's not. So
Right.
that puts a strain on their relationship, because her dad didn't seek help on how to deal with this, didn't get her help. And I truly do think this was part of her grieving process
Mm-hmm.
on it. And I'll talk more about that at the end on my theory on the situation, because I don't think he's an imaginary friend. I'm just saying, but not too many. In most of these movies, minus Drop Dead Fred, they're really not even imaginary friends.
Right
So
on.
that's just what they tell you in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Her relationship with Guy, like when he comes to town, he first wants her to help him get her dad to do this show. And can we talk 2 seconds about Charlie's dream job? In
Yeah.
my life,
I wrote it down. Go ahead. You start.
I have never in my life heard somebody say this is their dream job, but her dream job is to work in HR.
I
And
thought it was cute that she
it's
wanted to work in
adorable
HR. I
from
thought
the
it was
whole
super cute.
aspect of, that is such a kid answer. Like, they heard like
So,
HR,
right.
they get to wear a suit, because she's like, they get to wear a suit and they're important. They do a lot of paperwork. And I used to practice interviewing my dolls and doing problem solving and stuff. And I'm like, that's such a kid answer
Right.
that it was adorable. And
It was so
also,
cute.
I've never heard a grown adult go, at her age, which I would say she's probably college age or just after early 20s. I've never heard
Yeah,
someone
I
in their
thought
20s, early
24.
go, oh my God, my dream job's open in HR.
Right,
You know?
exactly. Yeah. HR doesn't sound fun at all. You hear about everybody's complaints. I'm like, I don't have time for your nonsense. But I'm like,
You've got
this
to
is
do
what you
the
want?
interviews and go, oh, you'd be good to work as Bob's assistant. He's real dry. You'll fit in great. Oh, wait, Bob came on to you. Fuck. Sit down. Let me get the form.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. HR does not sound like fun at all. But I love that she was all like, she just thought like this
It was
dream
the
job was
best,
HR, but
because she
it
got
was
to wear
really
a
cute.
suit. The suit was very important to her.
For sure, for sure. But I love that. I mean, nothing beats a good suit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, in all things considered, her and Guy had a cute little meet cute. They had a budding
Can I,
relationship. I mean, we don't know how long this movie takes place over, but their romance escalates
yeah,
quickly, because at the end of this, she's moving to the big city, which they never say which big city in Australia it
I
is.
just assume Sydney. Anytime
Uh,
we're in Australia, I just assume Sydney. Can I ask you a question real quick?
yeah,
Okay, so I know, did she do stuff sexually with Guy that first night, or should she just make out? I know she
I
didn't
think they
smash him.
just made out. I don't think
Oh,
they
that's a
like.
bummer.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe second, third base, but they didn't make it all the way home,
Gotcha. I
in my
get, well,
opinion.
yeah, because remember later on when her and Hugo she mentions it, but I was very much like, did she just smash this rando that came through, who was all like, yeah, I'm from the small town, a mile away, or what, I don't remember what he said, but
Yeah,
I'm
next
all like,
door.
oh, get the hell out of here, you moved away, you're a big city folk
Yeah.
now, come on.
All right. So in the end, she does move away to the big city with Guy, which
With
it
God,
happened really fast and seems very strange. And was she living with Guy? Because, you know, I assume she was because he invited her.
did you find Guy attractive?
Oh, he was adorable.
I thought so too. I was like, Guy is totally
Hugo,
adorable.
not. I did not
Yeah,
find
Hugo
Hugo
was
attractive at
not
all.
too skinny, very
And he's
simpy.
got a ginger porn stash.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. And he just like, I know he was trying to lift weights, but I'm all like, honey, come on, you're a little too skinny for daddy.
Yeah. So, okay. So now we're going to talk about Hugo and Charlie's relationship, which was the main point of this entire movie. So
Yes.
she was a small child. I would assume in the beginning she's like maybe 6 or 7 when her mom dies and Hugo appears.
Which, can I just say, when that first scene popped up, because I knew this was an imaginary friend movie, because
Yeah.
you had suggested it. I'm not gonna lie, I was all like, which one's the imaginary friend? Like,
she was acting a little cray cray at that time too.
yeah,
Like,
like the whole time I'm just like, I literally was trying to figure it out, and then the dad came out, and I was like, oh, it's the girl, she's the real one. I get it now.
right.
Okay.
And then it made sense that she was teasing him that he couldn't really have
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But I
for
was like,
sure.
is she the imaginary friend that's all like, look at the cup of tea, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I just thought he was one of those people that like to be like abused, like sexually and everything. But because she was like, oh, your skin sucks. And I was like, oh, that's mean. But I was like, maybe he likes that in an imaginary friend.
so then it skips to their adults, and Hugo has grown up with her.
Yeah.
So he's an adult as well, which I go, do imaginary friends grow up? Or do they change with you? I don't know, because I didn't have one my whole life. I don't even remember having one when I was a kid. Like I said, I had no problems talking to myself or my dolls. I didn't
Right. I'm
have
in the
a
same boat.
imaginary friend that I remember.
Mhm.
So Hugo does not like Guy because Hugo is quote unquote in love with her. And I go, wait, does
Yeah.
that just mean you're in love with yourself?
Yeah,
If
I
your
didn't.
imaginary friend loves
Yeah, I didn't
you?
okay. I didn't understand Hugo as an imaginary friend. Okay, so he goes off when they do that little weird thing where he goes off into that weird like the
Like the
underneath.
forgetful land
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
underneath or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was all like, what is that? And they don't explain it in this movie. Like, I have
No.
questions. I have a
Which is why
serious.
I will throw this out there now, which is why I don't think he's a real imaginary friend.
Yeah, I go, what's going on there? Because I feel like there's a movie underneath this movie.
Yes.
Like, is this a parallel universe? Is he from, this underneath world, like Stranger Things kind of thing? Because I was like, what is that he's going to?
Right. So when she's little and the hypnotherapist gets through and hypnotize her, she quote unquote sends Hugo away. And he goes to like this dark bluish place where he's really cold. And that's all he talks about is how cold it was. And she promises, I'll never send you there again. But when she is with Guy and she wants to like be alone with Guy, Hugo isn't there, but she still sends Hugo without trying to this place.
To the underneath.
Right. And can we talk? Oh, and I'm just going to say this. Well, I'll come back to it in a minute if I got to remember. So, at one point, after Guy says, come with me to the city and everything, Hugo is all, no, I'm in love with you. And she sleeps with Hugo.
Yes, I have. Oh my God, I have so many questions about this.
And I go, again, doesn't that mean she just pretty much masturbated?
That's what I thought. That's what. Yes,
I
have. Oh my God, I have so many questions about this movie. It's ridiculous.
Which is again why I say I don't think he's an imaginary friend.
But this is the thing. If he is imaginary, okay, so he's lifting the weights. You remember the weights?
Yes.
And then he leaves that note. So I'm all like, Is
And
he
he punches the guy in the bar.
Yeah, and I'm all like, what is going on here? And they don't explain anything. And I'm
Nothing.
pretty sure there's no sequel to this movie or going to happen.
Or prequel or subside Hugo movie, nothing.
I have so many questions that will never get answered. I'm like, so I'm in the same boat. I don't think Hugo is an imaginary friend because when it comes to imaginary friend movies, the imaginary friend, I don't know. I don't know. It's like you can explain things away because you don't see it. But in this one, he's punching people in the face. He's writing notes. If you look
lifting weights.
Yeah.
He's clearly having
Drop Dead Fred is not writing notes.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's like what's going on here? And it's so like I don't know. I don't know, man. I just have so many questions.
And can we talk about Hugo is other places when he's not with her? If he's an imaginary friend. So I was going to bring this up before and I'm just going to bring it up now. So when she's out on her date, he's sitting in the living room with her dad.
Yeah.
Okay, and can I just mention her dad opens like a cold can of baked beans and just eats them straight out of the can. And I was like, that's gross. They need to be warmed up.
Oh, I haven't done that before, but I put beans on toast and just eaten it.
Well, that's different.
That's is it? Okay.
That's like a thing. Like I've done that and then thrown like some bacon on top of it,
Gotcha. Okay.
But anyways, I was like, he's sitting there and he knows he's going to disappear because he says, "Ooh, it's getting really cold in here, Roger." And of course, Roger has no idea he's there and Roger's not responding. But again, I'm like, wait, you're her imaginary friend. How are you able to have a life when she's not around?
Exactly. It's so complex and they don't explain anything. They don't explain anything. You're just like,
and I'm assuming when she hits the rue and he's at the car and everything and runs, I'm assuming he's the one that gets her out of the car and helps her back to the house. And again, I go, you're an imaginary friend. You can't do that.
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm in love with you. And then they smash, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm all like, which I just go like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I have so many like thoughts on this movie.
It's so confusing. It really does confuse the whole idea of an imaginary friend. So then she gets mad at her dad and she tells her dad she's moving to the city, and Hugo gets mad because he thinks they have like a love connection and they're going to spend their lives together or whatever. But in the end, she ends up leaving and going with Guy. So my thing is, what do you really think Hugo is? Because I think you're on the same boat as me that Hugo is not an imaginary friend. He's not a figment of her imagination.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. He's not an imaginary. I don't know exactly what's going on. The best I wrote it in my notes. The best I could come up with it's a parallel universe. And there's movies that have done this before where it's like a universe that sits on top of ours. Mm-hmm. So he was like traveling, and I don't quite know, but I just don't think he was an imaginary friend. That's my whole thing.
So I had a couple ideas. I had the parallel universe thing where he'd like come here and somehow gotten stuck. And that's why he grew up like as a kid, he came here or something. And that little in-between place was like he didn't know how to get home because he came here as a kid. Yeah. So that's kind of like where he went. So that was that. Or my other one is what if he's like an alien who was like sent here and that cold place is like his ship that doesn't work anymore, and he was a kid on that ship. Kind of like that whole Roswell TV show where they were coming with their parents but they crashed and the kids were the kids were the only survivors, and so he grew up here but he didn't know how to make himself visible. Like they had that whole invisibility, like, I overthought this, like they were coming here
this is all sounding so much better.
Like they were here for research purposes, so they had like an invisibility power, so they couldn't be seen. But because he has now grown up and he doesn't know how to make himself uninvisible, like he's slowly learning and figuring it out. But the cold place is like him somehow sending himself back to the broken down ship. I don't know.
No, that sounds very good. I would watch that. The whole time I'm just like, Well, now I want to know more what's going on. Like I don't know what's going on, but I want to know about it. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
was like, I need to know more about Hugo's background and what he really is.
And I
Because
have a feeling that we're never gonna know anything, and we're just gonna have these
not
questions
unless we
forever.
DM the writer and be like,
Yeah,
tell us more
we
about
should.
Hugo. Could you come on our show and talk to us
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Hugo?
Yeah, come and drink with us while we talk about this your crazy movie. Like we didn't hate it, but we have
No,
so many questions. I
it
have
was a
so
great
many
movie. It gave
questions.
us Hallmark vibes, but we are super interested
Yeah,
in Hugo. We
I have
need more.
questions,
Yeah,
mate.
right.
You know, we'll put another shrimp on the Barbie for you and
Right.
everything. So
We'll send you the little bottles of wine. They come. There's 24 of them. You
yeah,
can drink them on the
exactly.
show.
Exactly. Just be on our show so we can we have questions,
We have so
fucker.
many questions about Hugo. Come on now. So overall, what did you have? Anything else you wanted to add about this?
No, no, I'm in the same boat as you. I just have so many questions, but at the same time, I don't think he was an imaginary friend. I just don't know what he was, you
There's
know?
just no way.
Yeah,
He defies all of the imaginary friend
for sure. I agree.
category things.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called. So
Yeah, it's not your typical imaginary friend storyline.
no. Okay, so would you recommend this movie besides the bar interview of the farmers, which is seriously you need to watch that.
It's the best part
funny.
of the movie. I
So
love
funny.
that part so much. I love it.
Yeah.
I would say yes, only because it's not a bad movie, but it's not an Oscar winner, but it's still
No.
at the same time I found it interesting. Like while I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting concept." And then like I have questions, like I have so many questions about Hugo and this
Yeah.
imaginary friend thing that I'm like, yeah, I say watch it.
And
And
yeah, I
if you
go,
guys have insight on this, leave it down below. Leave it down
yeah,
below.
for real. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, tell me.
Your scenario of
Yeah,
what
yeah,
Hugo
do
is.
it. What about you?
Yeah, no, I totally, as I say a lot, movie was probably 20 to 30 minutes too long. They spend a lot of
Right,
time walking through the cotton fields, which is really pretty, but unnecessary. I
right.
go, it was good. It almost gave me like 1980s. I said at the beginning it gave me Hallmark vibes, but the more we
Right.
talk about it, it gives me like 1980s like mini series
Oh, right
vibes.
on. Yeah.
And like I said, give me a good accent and I'm there for the whole
Ain't that the truth,
movie.
sister?
I'm all about it.
Yeah,
So,
I melt for an accent.
oh, right. Uh, so I definitely say give it a go, even if it's just for the 15 minutes of the bar scene.
Oh my
But
God, yeah.
seriously,
Titties.
boobies, titties, voluptuous. I mean, it was just
Honger bonger doinky
who
blinkies.
knew? I mean, there are so many words out there for boobs, but who knew you could string them all into a complete sentence?
Oh, I know what their top search was on Pornhub for sure.
Oh, for sure. That was like, oh, that's
What? Wait,
coming
what'd you
back out.
say?
I said I had my cup in my hand, and you said that, and I said it right back down. So I was like, yeah, let's just finish this before
Right.
I
Yeah.
do
No, it was they're like you always get those like end of the year. What's the top search for every state in the United States? But I'm like, Australia, it's titties for sure.
right.
Big boobies.
They let those guys improv that, and those guys are online Googling different.
For sure.
And just by coincidence, they all came up with boobs and
Right. That's so funny. That's so
awesome.
funny.
Alrighty. So now we're gonna move on to our next portion. What is your question today?
Okay, so my question for you is what is your favorite movie that takes place in Australia? Go.
So this is a movie that I'm sure I don't know if it stood the test of time, and a part of me goes, I will never watch it again because I have so many amazing memories of this movie. I absolutely loved it. I think I recorded it on a VHS tape and wore it out, but it is BMX
Oh
Bandits.
my God. Oh my God. I have the same movie with Nicole Kidman. Oh my God. Stop. Talk.
And that movie made me want to be a BMX biker so bad with the helmet and the onesie.
Oh my God.
Oh,
and they're
loved
going
that.
down the water slide with their
Right,
bikes.
right.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much. I had the same movie, you fucker.
So amazing. I
my
can't
God.
even. I have so many amazing, and I would love to watch it today, but I'm so afraid that if I watched it as an adult, it would be ruined and then it would ruin my life because that movie just like made so much of me happy on everything about it.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. When you asked this question, I was like, I love that movie so much. Like, I have nothing but fond memories of that movie, but I cannot remember what was the main focal point. I remember there was like a main race at the end because that was the whole
So
thing.
that's what they were training for, but they were out riding and they came across a robbery of some sort.
Oh my gosh, you're blowing my mind with this because I
Yeah.
haven't watched it since I was like 12.
Loved
But
that movie so
I love that movie so much.
much.
Like I have nothing but fond memories of that movie.
There are so many
Uh,
movies I have watched with Nicole Kidman. Just like
right?
I had no interest in the movie, but like she is so ingrained as one of my favorite actresses just because of
Yes,
that movie. And I've watched a lot of bad Nicole Kidman
for
movies,
sure.
but no matter what movie she ever makes, I will watch it just because at the age of like 13 or 14 or whenever that movie came out in like 83, and I think I was like 8 or 9 the first time I saw it. And I watched it for years. I was convinced I was going to be amazing, BMX
Oh,
biker, and I was going to be
yes.
famous and
Oh, what are you
all
talking about?
because
I
of
rode
her.
my I rode my bike around the neighborhood like I was like a fucking badass after
Tried to
watching that
convince
movie.
mom and dad to buy me a helmet, like a
Yeah,
motorcycle helmet for my bike, and
and
dad
like
told me I
elbow
was
pads and knee
crazy.
pads.
Yup. And
Yeah.
and I think at one point dad was like, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard."
Right. Yeah. Our father.
Yeah.
What? What? You want knee pads? What do you
You
need
want
knee
a
pads for?
helmet
You want a
for
helmet?
riding a bike? And now everyone puts a helmet on their
Yeah.
kid, and our
What?
dad's like,
What are you? What are you, a girl? What? You want to ride the helmet?
yeah,
And then
you
I'm
know, I remember asking for like a motorcycle helmet to ride my bike because I was going to learn to do flips and stuff. And I remember our parents tell me that was the dumbest thing they ever heard. And now
yeah.
parents like, your kid can't get on a bike with training wheels without a helmet.
Right. So good. So good. Yeah. I love that movie so much. It was, yeah, I'm glad that I'm so, that's so crazy that we had the same choice. It was so good.
God, well, I mean, I could talk about that movie forever. I
We
mean,
should
if I could,
review one
we
of these
should.
days. We'll take all these movies into effect. I have all these notes, and we'll have to go back and
Yeah.
review all these movies.
Yeah, and I remember walkie-talkies in that movie.
Oh
Like
my
like
God!
we had
Yes,
walkie-talkies for it and
yes, they
everything.
had walkie
And
talkie. Oh my God,
yeah,
that was. Oh, it was a
so
different
much about that
time.
movie. Oh, we got walkie-talkies for Christmas,
Oh my
your older
God.
brother and I that
Oh my
year. Even though
God,
our
so
bedrooms
good.
were right next door, the thin walls, we could talk through them. But
So
yeah.
good. Yeah, that
Oh,
shit was great. Oh, I love
I
that, all
know.
that
Oh,
nonsense.
love that movie so much.
All right,
Okay.
what was your question
So
for
my
this?
question is, what is your favorite movie that takes place on a farm or with a farmer or anything to do with a farm?
All right, so all right, we've already reviewed this movie. It's Son-in-Law. Oh my God. We had to say we're simpatico, my sister.
It very rarely happens. I think it's only happened one or two other times that we have matched on both movies. So,
I love
like,
it. Listen, we've reviewed this movie. Son-in-Law is so I love this movie.
I watched it the other day just for funsies because
Yeah,
I love Pauly Shore. I watched
oh my
Encino
God.
Man the other night because I was
Next season, we're doing a Pauly Shore month. It's
oh
official now. We're doing it because it's so good. I love Pauly Shore too. He's
so
so
much in
great.
the army.
Oh my
Oh,
God, I
they
love that
shave his
movie.
head off, hair
Oh
off.
my
Did you not?
God.
The only time in my life that I went, oh, my heart broke a little in a Pauly Shore movie because they
Yeah,
shaved
yeah.
all
When
his
he's
hair.
like, did you order the code red? Answer me. Did you order the code red? That was my Nicholson impression. Oh my God, so good. Me and you. Okay, it's official, everybody. We are doing a Pauly Shore month next season,
Yeah.
season 5, Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I had
I
that
love
down
that
too.
movie.
Like I like answer. I wrote as I was writing the question. I just completed it with the answer.
Right, ain't that the
I
truth?
didn't
As soon
even
as
like pull out my phone or anything. I just was like, "Yep."
as soon as you sent me the question, I was all like, well, I have one in mind, but I'll Google it just to be on, it'd be just be in case. And then I was like, yeah, no other movies compare. It's just so good.
like, I imagine you Google it and shit like Field of Dreams comes up, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Field of
an answer
Dreams
my
came
dad
up.
would give.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, nothing compares to you. You know what I'm saying?
No. Oh God. Love that movie. Both those
Neither
movies are
kind.
great. But yeah, I mean, have you ever sat, and this is a side thing, but this is how I ran across Encino Man the other day and watched
Oh
it. So
my
sometimes
God, I love
I'll just
Encino
pull up
Man.
a streaming service and I'll spend an hour to 2 hours just watching trailers, just going through stuff,
Right.
watching trailers. And I've all intended on planning on watching a movie. And I'm like, I just watched 2 hours of trailers and did not find one movie to watch, but I'm good. I'm happy.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I love watching trailers. We should watch trailers more often
We
on
should,
this
we should.
channel.
All right. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about this movie or anything?
No. I think, I would just say no, I think it was interesting, and I have so many questions. That's the only thing.
Yeah, so many questions. It is definitely one of those movies that leaves you with more questions than answers, but give it a whirl. Take a look at the farmers talking about titties and
For
boobies. It's
sure.
great. You'll love it. So thank you guys so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. We will really appreciate it. And it does help smaller podcasts like us out a ton. We will be posting this video on our YouTube channel, so please feel free to check that out and subscribe because we know you're watching. So hit that subscribe button at
Yes.
YouTube BS Drunk Movie Reviews.
Yes.
Also, exciting news, we have started a Patreon.
Yeah.
So if you love what we are giving you, please hop on Patreon. It is the BS Bar for more booze and reviews. See what we did there?
Yeah, you
Love
did.
it. So there are levels to suit all of you. And even if you don't drink, subscribe to a level, or yeah, subscribe to a level, and that will buy our drinks. So you're
Yeah.
helping us out.
Yeah.
And we will leave all the information in the description below. And please, guys, don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, everybody.
Bye, you guys.